everyone, welcome back. Today we are making a video with probably what will be the first and last Foxbody Mustang on my channel. Last, that has like 2 periods and like a question mark at the end, but for now this is the first and last, just for now. So again, this is not my car. This is a Foxbody Mustang. This belongs to another YouTuber. His name is Matt. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are already familiar with him. If you're not, go to his channel, because by the time you guys see this video, he would already have this car with him, and he would already be making videos with them. So his name is Matt, and his YouTube channel is Gearhead704. But I thought, you know what, since I have this car, and of course I already have a Mustang, it is a Shelby. I know 2 different bodies, years, a lot is different, but they're both Mustangs at the end of the day. I thought, you know what, let's just make it a fun video and let's just do comparisons between the 2 cars, and also let's just talk about what I like and what I don't like about, well, between these 2 cars here. Again, this is just a fun video, just my opinion. Everyone has their own. So let's go ahead and get started. I thought, you know what, since they're side by side, let's start with the exteriors first, comparing them, and then we can move on to the rest. Before we start, let me tell you exactly what these cars are. So this is a 2018 Shelby GT350, and this is a 1988 Ford Mustang SSP. Huge age gap, 30-year age gap. That's besides the case. So since we're here at the front, let's start comparing the front ends. So we'll just compare it, and then I will kind of tell you what I prefer. If I prefer the Shelby or if I prefer the Foxbody. Okay, so let's start off with the Shelby. Oh, another thing to keep in mind is that between these 2 cars, both of them are modded. So neither of them are stock. However, the Foxbody has way more exterior mods than the Shelby. The Shelby is, I would say it's like subtle, but it's more like some R bits here and there. So, okay, anyways, let's start off with the Shelby GT350. So this front splitter is the same style, the same shape as the stock front splitter that comes with the Shelby GT350. The only difference is that I changed it for a carbon fiber one. But other than that, it is the exact same thing. Another thing, and that's how it is now, because it used to be way more dramatic. For those that know, I used to have another one that extends further, but this is how it looks now. Another thing is that I have carbon fiber canards. Now that doesn't come with the Shelby or with the GT350R either. That's just something that I personally like, because at the time I was I was heavy into tracking the car around the road course. So I like it looks wise, functionality wise, and even though I haven't been tracking it, I still like how it looks. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the front. And another thing is that I did very small subtle mod here. I did change that. I added a pink decal. That's not red. A lot of people confuse it with red, that I'm trying to make it look like an R. It's not. It's hot pink, because it's a girl car. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the front end. I absolutely love it. Now let's move on to the Mustang SSP. I feel like I should just call it Foxbody. That's just more when I think about this car, I just think Foxbody. Okay, so now when it comes to this front end, I am assuming this is 100% stock. I may be wrong, but to me this looks completely stock. You know, if it's not stock, then they did a hell of a good job making it look like whatever, maybe something with the front bumper, like if it's OEM. Another thing is that when it comes to looking at both cars from the front, and understandably that this is because of the age difference and the years and the style 30 years ago to the styles back in 2018 until now, this car is like a lot more square. Even when it comes to the headlights, this car is a lot more rounded, it's a lot smoother. So my personal preference would go to the Shelby front end, just because I'm not a big fan of the boxy shape. Again, that's my opinion. I know there's probably a lot more people that like the older boxy look, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I prefer this one better. Moving on to the side profile of both cars. So let's start off with the Foxbody first. So when I mean side profile, I mean kind of the silhouette. Like if you were to just look at it, excluding the wheels, because I'll get to the wheels later, that's exactly what I mean. So starting from the front quarter panel all the way to the rear, I love the side profile on this car. Of course, this is modded, and this is probably why I love it. And what takes the cake, what makes it, is these fender flares that just give it that wide, kind of like mean and aggressive look. So every single time I look at this car from the side, I'm like, it screams aggression to me, and I really do like it. Again, exclude the wheels. I know it's kind of hard to exclude it, but just looking at it, I really do like it. Just because the nature of how aggressive it is. So now moving on with the Shelby GT350. I like the side profile of this car. The only thing, again, when it comes to like the front end, it's very smooth. It's less boxy than the Foxbody side profile, and I like it. I feel like it could be better. It's just a little bit too smooth, but comparing it to the Foxbody, well, I'm just saying smooth comparing it to the Foxbody. Another thing that I don't really like when it comes to like this, and well, when it comes to the Shelby and it's just say like a GT, is that other than this front quarter panel here that has this different aesthetic on the Shelby, you really wouldn't be able to tell if it's just a GT. So that is one thing that it is different, but you would have to know that what a GT looks like and like a Shelby looks like, which I know that a lot of people just regularly on the street wouldn't know, so it'll be like, that's the same car. So again, I like it, but it's a little bit too soft for me. So when it comes to the side profile, I would give it to the Foxbody hands down. And again, I think that's because of the fender flares. Now I have seen many people do the fender flares on just this basic, the S550 chassis. I am not a big fan of it. I think it looks too bulky, and also I don't know why it kind of goes hand in hand. Whenever they do those fender flares on the side, they also bag the car, which to me that is a double no. I don't like it, so I wouldn't do that to this car. I think the Foxbody looks really good with it, and it's also not like a, see, it's just like very subtle with the fender flares. It's not like this huge outrageous wide body kit that it has. So again, the Foxbody takes the cake for this one. When it comes to the rear, this is a tough choice, but starting off with the Shelby GT350. So again, just like when I was referencing the side profile, the rear, I'm a big fan of it. The only thing is that for like very few little details here, when you look at the rear, you're like, is that a GT? Is that an R? Is that a 500? You really would have to know the specifics of the models. But again, to like people that don't really know, they'll be like, that's just another Mustang. Yeah, like I just saw the GT, here's another GT right here. I'm not trying to show shade to throw just shade at Ford, because Chevy does the same thing. I mean, I have a Z01 1LE, even though that one is a bit more modded than just a stock Z01 1LE, so you could tell that this is an aggressive car. It's very hard to tell the difference between just a Z01 and a 1LE. You would have to look at the front end and also the brake caliper. So again, there's just some makes that they do that. But anyways, here with the front end for the Shelby, so I did add this R replica wing, not because I'm trying to be an R, just because I really do like this styling better than the stock Shelby GT350 wing. But if it was up to me, I would remove this and just keep my race wing that I had, you know, the one that everybody made fun of like a shopping cart. To me, that is the number one that I like. But since I'm not tracking it, I like the R one better, just because it gives a little bit more like oomph than just the stock way. And another thing is that other than the badge, like I was saying, here with the badge you can tell that it's a GT350, so that's another difference. And then just this bottom part here of the bumper, that's another sign that it is a Shelby GT350. But other than that, and I mean, even if you have a GT or whatever other model, you can add all of these things and then people are really going to be confused. It is a very bubbly rear end. I really like it. It's like very modern and I like it. I really like it. Now when it comes to the Foxbody, you know, it is so simple but yet so perfect. Again, this is a classic car, 30 years older than the Shelby, and it just has that classic rear end. So as I was saying earlier, this car overall is very boxy, but when it comes to the rear end, I absolutely love the boxiness. Whenever I see it, it just looks fast. Like this car is parked, it's standing, and it looks very fast. It looks very aggressive and mean. So as simple as it is, it screams like 1,000 more words. So that's why it's very hard for me to choose between this rear end and the Shelby rear end. To me, I would say that this is a tie just because they're completely different, and it just depends on your style. So do you want the bubbly kind of modern rear end, or do you want that classic boxier look? I would take both, honestly. So now the last thing when it comes to the exterior are the wheels. What I told you to ignore before. So starting with the Foxbody, I absolutely love the setup here with the wheels. So these are HREs and they are carbon fiber. I don't know if they were like just carbon fiber without the black paint all over them. I don't know if they painted them. It doesn't matter. Now it's like a flat black, and I really do like it. I think it goes well with the glossy black paint that the car has. So I really like that. Also, this car has a square setup. These are 295s all around. I know, I was like, that's insane. 295 with my cars, that is very small, but with this car and how it's set up, they look very meaty and very pushed out, which I absolutely love. Like, my favorite thing about this car has to be just like the stance of it, and when it comes to the wheels and just these fender flares, because it just gives it a more meaty, wider, more aggressive look. So who doesn't like having carbon fiber wheels? Obviously they're a lot lighter, they're expensive, but it looks very good on the car. So now when it comes to Shelby GT350, which I forgot to mention, so both of these cars, when it comes to the wheels, neither of them are stock. So both of them are modded. So again, it just comes to preference. Now this, again, these aren't stock. These are Apex wheels. These are not carbon fiber, but they are much lighter than the stock wheels. So these are meant for the track. So these are track wheels. I forgot the difference in weight. I know I did a video about that years ago when I got these wheels. These are much lighter than the stock wheels, which if there's one thing I hate about the Shelby GT350 are the stock wheels. They're so heavy. It is so annoying. So that was one of the things I just really wanted to get rid of. So I got these Apex wheels. They are much lighter and they are also a lot tougher. So they are a stronger material than the stock wheels. So I do like that fact. That's obviously where I got these wheels. The color, not a huge fan at all. I just, honestly, I love the black on black look. So I do like how the Foxbody is set up. But I just didn't get it because I thought black on black, it was just going to kind of like go under the radar, and I wanted something to stand out more. But if it was up to me, I would get black, but I feel like the car needs a little bit more of an accent for the wheels to pop up. So when it comes to the color, that's just something silly. That's something I don't like. This color is like a gray, but it's like a gunmetal color. So this car is not on a square setup, so this is a staggered setup. These are 305s in the front and 325s in the rear. It is meaty, but since it doesn't have the fender flares, it doesn't look as obvious as a Foxbody. And the reason that I got this setup like this is because this is the 305s in the front and 325s in the rear, is the exact same setup as the stock Z01 1 Elite, and I really like that look. I also have the same tires that the Z01 1 Elite comes with stock. There's another thing that I don't like about the stock Shelby GT350. I didn't like the wheels, I didn't like the tires. I feel like these tires, money wise, are so much better when it comes to like grip and just overall all around like year-long use, at least here in Arizona, not in like a snow state. They are pretty good. So I can go more deep into that, but that's besides the point. So again, this is the wheels for the Shelby GT350, and then these are the wheels for the Foxbody. I would give the wheels to the Foxbody because, again, I love it, and who doesn't like carbon fiber wheels? The GT350R does come with carbon fiber wheels, but the Shelby GT350R has glossy black carbon fiber wheels. I know the GT500 also has carbon fiber wheels, but they show the weave, they show the carbon fiber weave. So again, that is all up to preference. I would probably go with the flat black just because I've seen the glossy ones already way too much on the Mustangs, and it's different. So wheels, Foxbody for sure. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the interior. I have yet to drive this car, so we are not going to talk about how it drives, how it feels on the road, because I don't know anything about that yet. So we're just going to talk about the chairs, how it feels sitting down, if it's comfortable or not, steering wheel, dash, shifter. That's pretty much it until I do an actual video of driving it. Then I can tell you a little bit more about that. So first off, starting with the seats. These seats are not stock. So that, I think a lot of things here in the interior, again, I don't know much about Foxbodies, but I don't think, like 90% of this does not feel or look stock. But these are bucket seats. They are made out of leather, so they are adjustable just like the Shelby, that you can move it front and back, and you can move the rear side here, so you can lean it further back or forward. They do feel a little firm. I mean, race seats in general are not for comfort. They're for functionality, but they do feel a little bit more firmer than my Shelby. And I know that because obviously I've sat in the Shelby a million more times than in this car. When it comes to the steering wheel, this steering wheel, it feels, I mean, just by not turning the car on, but it just feels a little bit lighter and a lot thinner. And again, this is leather. The steering wheel on the Shelby is Alcantara. And another thing, which we'll get to that, but the Shelby doesn't have anything, like everything inside the Shelby is stock. So it's kind of like a awkward comparison, but still. So this does feel a little bit thinner. I guess I would have to tell you a little bit more about how I like this, because I prefer like a thicker steering wheel, but maybe the way for this car, this would fit better. When I drive it, I'll let you know a little bit more. This dash, I feel like this is like the only OEM thing. This is added, and like a few things here. So, you know, I feel like it's functional. I think they used to do autocross with this car, so having these gauges here, and I feel like seeing these gauges that are kind of wide and they kind of pop up, I do like this better than the Shelby, just by looking at it, because I already know with the Shelby you kind of like, it's all over the place. This is right here, everything you need to know. So again, this is something that they added and for functionality purposes, so I do like that, how that's like just right there. Everything else, like this part, this area right here, is giving me Camry vibes, but again, that's because the car is like 30 years old. So this is how things used to look back in the day. And then I feel like this here was added, which is pretty cool, kind of like I don't know if this works, cop kind of a two-way radio system. But anyways, the shifter, wow, this is not like my shifters at all. I don't know right now. I feel like this probably seems like it's kind of will take some getting used to with this shifter, but I'm not sure, but that's like with any manual car. You get into it, you need like at least like 5 minutes to adjust when it comes to like the shifter and also the pedal and then the clutch. So, but I feel like this shifter is aftermarket and probably like a little rough. So I don't know, I can't tell you much more other than when I started driving it. And then overall, the interior, I like how they added this fun pop of color to the sides, which they also have other seats that you can remove these and then put some other racing seats that are not adjustable, but they're this fun color. So that's a nice option to have. It has no rear seat because again, they totally redid the interior of this car. My Shelby still has the rear seat, but this is more for functionality because this is just meant for use it at the track, autocross, wherever you want to use it, and not for you to just be comfortable and take your whole family with you in this car. It also has a roll cage, so I do like that because again, if you're taking it to the track, autocross, for safety and functionality. So I do like the things that they added to this car, and they knew exactly what this car needed when you're at an event or somewhere like that. I also like how it has a 4-point harness because again, that's important. These are things that if I were to go back into heavy tracking, I would add all of these things because they make sense. So now let's move on to the Shelby's interior. Now we're in the interior of the Shelby GT350. Honestly, there's not much to say to this, so it's not going to be pretty long. Everything here is stock for the exception of this shifter. This is an MGW short shifter. How can I say this? It's kind of like a love-hate relationship with this shifter. For everyday use in the street, no. I really dislike it. But for the track, yes. But that can also be due to it's paired with a racing clutch, so maybe that's not the best for, no, it definitely is not the best for everyday use. But for the track, great. So that's pretty much all that's modded here. Everything else is stock. This interior, this dash, I feel like it's very basic and plasticky. I feel like it's made for the masses rather than the Foxbody looks a lot more thought out. So I do like the dash of the Foxbody more. It's thought out, it's functional, exactly what the car is used for. You have all of the functionality there, so I really do like that. This here is like all over the place, but it's, again, it's made for like just people overall, not for you to just take this car to the track. The steering wheel, this is Alcantara, it is a little bit meatier, so I do like this better. But again, maybe that car is different. I haven't driven it yet, so I don't know. I would let you know once I drive it. Which that reminds me, when it comes to the shifter, since that shifter is taller, I feel like maybe I will like it more. To be determined when I drive it. Another thing is that that car had Recaros and so does this one. So these come stock with the Shelby GT350. Well, depends on the package, but this package, it comes with the Recaro. So these are stock. These are micro suede and they look pretty similar to the ones that the Foxbody has. For the exception, the other ones are leather. They look a little bit more bolstered, but it has the same functionality where you can move it back and forth and you can recline it or move it up further, whichever you want. These, because of the material, it feels a bit more comfortable, but again, bucket seats are not meant to be comfortable, so it's not like a little bit more comfortable, but you're not comfortable like a normal seat in a normal car. And that's pretty much it. I would say that the interior, I would give it to the Foxbody just because everything it has inside, everything that was added was made specifically for the purpose of the car, for the track, for autocross, whatever they used it for. This is like, oh well, do you want comfort but do you also want to go to the track? Do you want the radio but do you also, like, you know, it's like too many choices. It's not like narrowed down. So overall, this is pretty good, but I just like how there's more personality in the Foxbody. It's just thought out more and it's simple. This is what you need, this is what you have, and there's not like a lot more choices here that are necessary. So the last thing is talking about the engines for these two cars. This will be pretty quick. None of these, so the Foxbody or the Shelby, none of them have stock engines. So let's start off first with this one. So this is a 302 Ford Racing engine. It's a 5.0 V8. And you know what, that's as far as I know about this engine. It's pushing like mid 300s. I don't know if internals are upgraded. I'm pretty sure that they are. I don't know, I could be wrong, but in the last videos you guys saw when I turned on this car, sounds camp, it feels camp because it's kind of slightly rocking, but I can't 100% say that. So this is as far as the Foxbody engine. Now when it comes to the Shelby GT350, again, this is not a Ford engine. This is a fully built engine. This is a 5.2 V8. It's pushing like 650 engine. Internals are upgraded, so it is rock solid until now. Now when it comes to the two, I don't know about this one. I mean, I haven't really driven this car, but I do have more experience with mine, so I would have to pick mine just because this is my car and I have more experience driving this. But that one could be good, I guess. I'll see once I drive it. One thing that I don't like about the Shelby is that in this engine bay, there's no room to work with. It is horrible. It is just, I don't ever want to work on this again, okay? Because compared to this engine bay feels like a dream, which is something that I've noticed when it comes to just older cars. There seems to be just a lot more room to work with, so this seems like it would just be easier and a more pleasant experience to do anything you need to do on here. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the Shelby engine and the Foxbody. So throughout the video I pretty much spoke about things that I did like about the car and things I didn't like about when it just came to the Shelby and the Foxbody. But again, just to kind of like summarize it, so 3 things that I do not like about the Foxbody. So first, the front end. It's a little too boxy for me, but that's just when it comes to the cars this year. I mean, the same thing with the Camry. I'm not a big fan of that foxy look, which I do just prefer the softer, more rounder edges look of the Shelby. The second thing I don't like about the Foxbody is the steering wheel feel. That's just me sitting in the car, that's not me driving it, so maybe I will change my mind once I drive the car and I'm like, you know what, this steering wheel is different from what I'm used to, but it feels good with the car. So I'll let you know if I change my mind once I drive the car. And then the third thing I don't like about the Foxbody is the kind of lack of comfort with these Recaro seats that it has now. I know that they are bucket seats and bucket seats are not meant to be comfortable, but compared to my Shelby, those bucket seats are more comfortable. So again, I'm just being like really nitpicky here because overall this car is pretty good, but like these are like, okay, if I have to say 3 things, then those are it. And then a fourth one, a bonus one that I don't like about the Foxbody is that it's not mine. Okay, so when it comes to my Shelby GT350, 3 things that I don't like. First one is the side profile. So it's not that I don't like it, it's just I feel like it could be better. It could be a little bit more unique, a little bit more different, because again, just the only thing that makes it different from other trims is that front quarter panel, and that's only if you are able to actually distinguish it. Like, yeah, this is like what a GT350 has, but I feel like to just regular people that don't know, they're gonna be like, that's just another Mustang. The second thing I don't like is the interior. It's just a little bit too plain for me, and it's just filled with plastic. But again, I understand why they did it, because it's not like a track specific car, and this one, it's just someone took the time to think, I want this and this and this in my interior. But I just feel like it could be a lot better. The size, I know this is like super random, but it is a very big and bulky car compared to the Foxbody and compared to like a lot of other cars. But again, I'm just being like very, very nitpicky here, and like, okay, if I have to pick 3 things about each car, this is it, because overall I like them. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten my Shelby GT350 if I just didn't like it overall. And the Foxbody, this car, how it is, it looks absolutely perfect. I feel like, you know what, maybe there has to be a Foxbody modded like this, or at least it needs to come and eventually look like this that I see it in my near future, but who knows. But either way, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys prefer the Foxbody, or do you guys prefer the Shelby GT350? Do you guys have either or of these cars? Is there something that you like or that you don't like that I didn't mention? I haven't yet seen. But either way, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next video that I will do with Matt's Foxbody is a D-Drive, so I'm very excited to do that video because I will finally get to drive it, get a more realistic opinion about it, about how it sounds, how it feels, how it looks, just overall. So I'm very, very excited for this one, so expect that one pretty soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.